If you are missing out in your writing module, if you're not really sure why your writing is low, if you're aiming for that band 8 in writing, this is the video you should be watching. I have analyzed over 100 scorecards, and the one common reason which I've shortlisted why students nowadays are not really getting their scores in the writing module is summarize spoken text. They think everything's fine. They practice on website gives them 12 on 12, and they think, okay, we are good, it's fine, why do we even need to work on this? But summarize spoken text is extremely important, and if you're not adding proper content, proper keywords, you're over relying on templates, you are not going to get the scores. In this video, I'm going to tell you the scoring criteria, how PTE Summarize Spoken Text actually works, how you have to write one summary. I'll be taking the notes, I'll be writing one random summary which I've never done before, so that I can tell you if something's difficult, something's off, how do I write my summaries, the template or the structure which you have to use, and the things you have to be extra careful about. So what I'll be doing now, I'll share my screen, will be telling you each and everything you need to crack this task within next 10 minutes. And if you watch and follow me for the next 10 minutes, 100% your listening and writing are going to skyrocket. If you're here for the first time, my name is Varun. I've been teaching PT for the last 9 years, and we have had more than 50,000 successful students at Language Academy. If you want to practice, if you want to see how you're doing, if you want to take mock test, you can go on our new website languageacademy.com.au or download our latest LAPT exam practice app. The scoring is exactly the same way as it happens in the actual test. On the website, the scoring is accurate. You will get AI feedback and you'll get real exam experience, and there will be no surprises on the test day. The scoring is aligned to the actual Pearson standards, and you'll get a clear idea of what mistakes you're making, what you need to work on, and how you have to achieve your desired scores. You can go on languageacademy.com.au and start practicing, or you can take one free full score mock test for which you'll get scorecard, feedback, and analysis. Now let's get started with summarize spoken text. Now for summarize spoken text is the first question type of the listening module. In PT Academic, you'll only get one summarize spoken text. What happens here? You get 10 minutes for this, which starts with an audio. The audio will go around 1.5 minutes. After which you'll need to write a summary of the same audio or the lecture in your own words between 50 to 75 words. So you get 10 minutes, one summarize spoken text. Each summarized spoken text is 12 points, and this will contribute towards your listening and writing module. Then you have got 10 minutes, which includes the audio time. So you basically have 8.5 minutes to write your summary and proofread it as well. How you have to manage your time? First 1.5 minute, you have to take down notes. After that 5 minutes, you have to frame and write down your summary. And last 2 to 3 minutes, you have to make sure you proofread properly. Now, remember, in Summarize Spoken Text, there is AI and human checking. If you use templates, if you over rely on templates, there are chances you'll not get the scores. Human is going to mark you down. You can use a structure, which I'm going to show you on the screen. But before that, make sure whatever summary you're writing, you have to write relevant content. Each summary is marked on 5 parameters. The first one is content, 4 points for it. To get 4 on 4, you have to make sure you avoid using keywords. You write relevant content, meaningful sentences, and whatever was there in the lecture. Obviously, you cannot include each and everything, but you need to include 3 to 4 main ideas or main points from the lecture in your answer. No shortcuts, no keywords, no templates, relevant response, relevant answer. Then 2 points for form, you need to write between 50 to 70 words, write around 65 words. Then you get 2 points for grammar, pretty simple. If there are no grammar mistakes, 2 on 2. One grammar mistake, 1/2. More than one grammar mistake, 0. To get 2 on 2, make sure you write simple sentences. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not write complex sentences. Write simple sentences. And at the same time, if let's say you're framing a sentence, you're not really sure, do not write it the wrong way. Write it the other way, simple way, but make sure there are no grammar mistakes. In PT, you don't really get points for getting or doing something correct. Rather, you lose points for the mistakes you're making. So it's extremely important. If you are not able to do something right, do not make a mistake. Same thing for spellings, 2 points for spellings. No spelling mistake, 2 on 2, one spelling mistake, 1/2, more than 1, 0. Simple. If you're not really sure, do not write it, and make sure you proofread properly. And last, one more thing for spellings, either you follow UK style or US style. you can't really mix both of these. I'll show you the example of the difference between UK and US English so that everything's clear. Next, last 2 points of our vocabulary. For this, use academic words, no short forms, no slang, no contractions. Use formal academic words and you'll be 100% fine. Now, what we'll be doing is we will be writing a summary. I'll choose a random summary I've never done before. I'll take down notes. I'll show you how I take notes and then I'll write a summary with you. You always write 5 sentences in the summary. The first sentence, this is the structure. Dash was the main topic of the lecture, or you can write the lecture was about whatever the main topic is. Then firstly, the speaker mentioned, or you can simply write firstly, idea number one. Furthermore, idea number two. Moreover or however, if it's a contradicting idea, you can use however, third point, and to conclude, fourth point. That's all you have to do. Now let's do one summary, see how I go, and I'll be sharing some key points with you as well. Alright, so this is where you practice. You get each and everything evaluated by AI. I've already all logged in, so I'll just go to dashboard. Let's go to practice material, summarize spoken text, and then we have got, let's start here, and I'll just do a random one. Okay, let's do this one. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll stop sharing the screen so that you can see how I'm taking the notes. Easy and calm, don't try to write everything down.
Becoming apparent that a growing number of elderly Americans had no economic protection from the increasing cost of health care. Most people over 65 had very low incomes and few owned private health insurance of any kind. Congress began a years-long debate on this issue of national health insurance for the elderly. Critics in Congress feared Medicare would lead to substandard and overpriced care and felt that it should serve only the indigent. They also predicted that, with growing numbers participating, it would eventually bankrupt the federal treasury. The legislative compromise that became the final Medicare Act, officially known as the Social Security Amendments of 1965, was part of President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society program. Today, it protects more than 40 million Americans from the high cost of hospital care. Much of the program's costs are covered by payroll taxes paid by workers. Yet costs quickly started to exceed expectations, and as Americans' life expectancy increased over the years, the Medicare program became even more expensive. It has become a matter of national debate and a financial issue for every Congress and president since. Today, it is still one of the fastest growing items in the federal budget. Nonetheless, Medicare remains a popular program and a well-established part of the federal government's role in our society.
See, the lecture was long. I had a lot of content. You just need 3 4 main ideas. Even if you do not get 100% of the ideas or the lecture correct, it's completely fine. What the lecture was about, in or since 1950s, a growing number of elderly Americans realized that they don't have any protection, uh, and this was relevant or related to health insurance. Obviously, you'll not be able to remember each and everything. Congress at that time said they should introduce Medicare, which will increase the price of healthcare, and increasing this will lead the treasury to go bankrupt. Therefore, Social Security amendments in 1965 were introduced by President Lyndon Johnson, but I don't really know the spellings for Lyndon, so I'll not write it, I'll just write Johnson. Since then, 40 million Americans have got their cost covered through this scheme. As the life expectancy increased, Medicare has become more expensive. It is still the fastest growing items in the budget. We've got a lot of content. We'll only write whatever we are 100% sure about. Let's move on. I'll share my screen and then start typing, okay? So we'll start typing the response here. Health insurance in America since the 1950s was the main topic of the lecture. Firstly, The introduction of Medicare was believed to increase the price of health insurance. I'm not really sure if it's the right idea or not, but it is somewhat relevant because I'm not really sure if Congress will be capitalized or not. I'll not write it. Firstly, the introduction of Medicare was believed to increase the price of health insurance, which would have resulted in treasuries, TREA, treasuries, treasuries, bankruptcy, if I'm not wrong. Bankruptcy. Okay. Furthermore, President Johnson introduced Social Security. It's the name of a scheme, so we'll capitalize it. Social Security scheme in the 1965. That's it. We need to be careful about word limit and time as well. Moreover, moreover, around 40 million Americans have used it to cover their medical expenses. To conclude, it is still the fastest growing item on the budget. That's it. Now, I'm not 100% happy with this summary. I know I could have written better, but we have to be very careful with the time as well, and then you cannot include each and everything. Let's quickly proofread. Health insurance in America since the 1950s was the main topic of the lecture. Okay. Firstly, the introduction of Medicare was believed to increase the price of health insurance or medical expenses. Let's write health insurance, which the introduction was which not would have, which resulted, which could have, not would have, could have. Now, this is a pretty long sentence. If you find it difficult, write a short sentence. Firstly, the introduction of Medicare was believed to increase the price of health insurance. Let's take this off. I don't really want to go grammatically wrong, so I'll just take it off. Furthermore, President Johnson introduced Social Security scheme in 1965. Moreover, around 40 million Americans have used it to cover their medical expenses. To conclude, it is still the fastest growing item on the budget. And I've got word limit left. I try to write around 65 words. So let's try it. And Medicare has become more expensive. I'm not 100% aligned with what they have mentioned in the lecture. You don't have to be 100% accurate. All what you need to do, you need to write relevant content. You have to be correct 70-80% as per the lecture. It's not that you just go all the way other side. 4 to 5 sentences, around 65 words, no grammar and spelling mistakes. I've got a few grammar and spelling mistakes, I believe. Maybe a couple, or maybe not. Let's submit. Let's see how we get the feedback here, right? So once we submit it, let's see the feedback. All right, so we have got 4 points in content, 2 points in form, 2 in vocabulary, 2 for spellings, but we've got 0 for grammar. Introduction of Medicare. Medicare is a proper noun. That's why we have to capitalize it. Medicare is a scheme, you can say, or is a particular card, you can say. That's why we have to capitalize. So I've lost 1 point here, 1 point here. We need to have comma over here. Social security, it was act, not scheme. So we have lost point over here as well of the social security scheme. Look how accurate or how in depth this is going to tell you the mistakes you're making. And I completely take that I can make mistakes as well. Remember, any kind of proper nouns should be capitalized. Content is good. If you look at the scores with remarks, excellent summary, the main idea and key outcomes are clearly conveyed. Perfect form, you need to work on your grammar. Vocabulary is good, spellings are fine as well. So what I need to be careful about, straight away I've lost 1 point here, 1 point here because I've not capitalized Medicare, right? After, because I added this sentence at the end, if you remember. So this is a separate or different clause. This is a different clause. When you use and to connect two different items or clause, you have to add a comma over here. And it was not scheme, it was act. So our system has even figured out that, and there should be an article over here. So these are the things you need to be careful about. If you go to others, look at the mistakes. This guy, Ankit, has got 4.5. Nikita has got 6 on 12. All of them, they've got this thing wrong, Medicare. Look, and I really need you to be very careful about this. Extremely important. See, I have lost 2 points, right? I've got 90 multiple times, and it's, if you don't pay attention to detail, there are very high chances you might easily lose a lot of points. So what are the things you need to be extra careful about? I always emphasize spelling and grammar. Any proper noun always capitalized. Medicare always capital. Any kind of social security act, try to get the name of the proper nouns correct. If you're not getting proper nouns correct, you're going to lose a lot of points for that as well. So these are the things you need to be careful about. How you have to crack summarize spoken text, write relevant ideas around 65 words, no spelling mistakes. If you're not really sure, do not write it. Use simple sentences, make sure you capitalize proper nouns. That is something which I've learned today as well, and there's no shame in accepting that, right? And then you have to be very careful about your vocabulary as well. These are the things you need to do to get a perfect 90 on 90 in your PT test. This is what I consider, this is what I do when I go for the test, and as I always say, you do not really need to be 100% accurate in PT. Even if you are around 70 to 80% accurate, but you give your 100%, you will be fine. That's all from this video. I hope the video was helpful. If it was, do like, share and subscribe, and make sure you practice and submit your response and see how you're going, what are the things you need to work on, and what are the things you should be careful about. That's it from this video. If the video was helpful, do like, share and subscribe. If you want me to cover any other topic, let me know in the comment section. To practice, you can go on languageacademy.com.au, or if you want to use on your phone, you can download the LAPT exam practice app. The scoring is aligned. AI is very smart now. It will figure out, recognize a lot of your mistakes. So it's highly recommended you practice over there. That's it. If you need any online classes or on-campus classes, give us a call, send us a message. We've got 13 classes running every day according to different time zones, and we will give 100% to help you out. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and stay safe. Practice on languageacademy.com.au or download the LAPT exam practice app now.